Ma'am, I can't find my daddy, the little girl said. The female CEO ran after her toward the woods. A 15-minute YouTube-style emotional story. The storm rolled in so suddenly that the sky looked torn open. Rain hammered the pavement, and people rushed for shelter, everyone except a little girl in a pink raincoat, standing alone on the sidewalk, shivering. That was when Rebecca Hale, one of the youngest tech CEOs in the city, noticed her while stepping out of her car. Rebecca had survived boardrooms filled with ruthless skeptics, hostile takeovers, and sleepless nights. Nothing usually shook her, but the fear on that child's face did. She crouched down and asked gently, "Sweetheart, are you lost?" The little girl's lip trembled. She pointed toward the dark rain-blurred forest line. "Ma'am, I can't find my daddy. He went into the woods. He hasn't come back." In an instant, the CEO didn't care about the important contract she was already late for. Her instinct took over. She grabbed her flashlight from the car and said, "Stay with me. I'll find him." But the girl shook her head. "I'm coming with you. Daddy gets scared in storms." And before Rebecca could argue, the child took off running toward the woods. Rebecca's heart stalled, then she sprinted after her. The woods were darker than they should have been. Branches snapped under their feet. Thunder cracked hard enough to feel like the trees were shaking. "What's your name?" Rebecca asked as they hurried deeper. "Lila," the little girl answered. "Daddy said we'd go camping, but he went to get firewood and he didn't come back." Rebecca noticed instantly Lila's hands were freezing, her breathing fast. She was terrified but trying to act brave. Something squeezed in Rebecca's chest. She remembered being 6 years old, hiding under a bed while her father walked out on her and her mother forever. That same helpless feeling, that same storm outside. Maybe that was why she couldn't walk. Away now, a few minutes in, Lila suddenly screamed, "Daddy!" But it was only an echo of wind. Rebecca kneeled, wiping tears from Lila's face. "Hey, I promise we won't stop until we find him." They walked deeper until they found a torn backpack caught in branches. Lila recognized it instantly. "That's Daddy's," she cried. Rebecca's pulse quickened. The backpack was soaked and torn at the straps, as though someone fell or was dragged. Lightning flashed, illuminating the trail, and Rebecca spotted something: broken bushes leading down a slope. She grabbed Lila's hand, and they climbed down. Carefully, a moan cut through the storm. Then another. Rebecca aimed the flashlight and froze. At the bottom of the slope lay a man, Lila's father, half clutching his leg twisted beneath a log. "Daddy!" Lila rushed forward, sobbing. The man opened his eyes, whispering, "Lila, I'm so sorry, I slipped." Rebecca knelt beside him, checking his pulse. "Your leg might be fractured. We need to get you out of here fast. The stream nearby could overflow." The man winced. I can't walk." "Then I'll carry you," Rebecca said. He stared at her, stunned. "You're going to hurt yourself." Rebecca took a deep breath, one of those breaths CEOs learn to take when the world is about to fall apart. "I've carried bigger problems," she said, forcing a smile. And she lifted his arm around her shoulders. The climb back up the slope felt endless. Mud slid beneath her shoes. The weight of the injured man strained her muscles. More than once, Rebecca stumbled. But each time she looked at Lila, small hands clenched, eyes filled with hope, and kept going. Halfway up, the man whispered, "Why? Why would you help strangers like this?" Rebecca didn't answer at first. Her breath was too heavy. Then, she said quietly, "Because once, nobody came for me and my mom. I won't let a child feel that again." The man said nothing, but tears mixed with the rain on his face. Finally, they reached the road. Sirens approached. Someone must have called for emergency help. Paramedics lifted Lila's father onto a stretcher. The little girl refused to let go of Rebecca's hand. "You saved my daddy," she whispered. Rebecca brushed her cheek gently. "No, sweetheart. You saved him. You never gave up." As the ambulance doors closed, the father reached out. "Ma'am, thank you. I owe you my life." Rebecca shook her head. "Just promise her a safer camping trip next time." He smiled weakly. "I promise." As the ambulance drove away, the storm finally eased. Rebecca stood in the rain, watching the lights fade. She felt something unfamiliar, something she hadn't felt in years. A quiet warmth, a sense of healing. Her assistant ran up, panting. "Ma'am, the contract meeting, everyone's waiting." Rebecca exhaled, wiping the mud from her hands. "They can wait," she said softly. "Some things matter more." And for the first time in years, the powerful CEO smiled, not the smile she used for cameras and shareholders, but a real one, because tonight, she didn't just save a father, she saved a memory. She saved a little girl from feeling the same abandonment she once faced. And maybe, she saved a part of herself too. Sometimes the storms we walk into lead us to the people we're meant to help, and the parts of ourselves we're meant to heal.